Right now, it's about 2 o'clock. I just finished a back and bicep day, which is probably my least favorite workout of the week. But today I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I woke up today about 7. I usually wake up around then. I'm going to try to get up earlier, coming up soon, but 7 o'clock is kind of a good sweet spot for me. And I've done nothing but work all day. Working on my coaching business, working on my physique here at the gym. And while I was at the gym, constantly thinking of new ideas, internalizing new thoughts, because I spend all my nights studying. Fitness, which is an ever-longing passion that I have in business, because that is the way I'm going to monetize my passion, and that's how I help my clients, obviously through my business. But this morning in particular, I kind of woke up with a different feeling. Now, today's Monday, and a lot of people hate Monday, but I actually love Monday. No bullshit. Monday is probably my favorite day of the week, and the day I look forward to the most. Monday feels fresh. Monday feels rewarding, but it only feels that way because I have kind of a newfound purpose, and I've leveraged my life to almost have a drive that I know every Monday when I wake up in the morning, this is a new week and I'm going to be productive, because I've leveraged my dopamine system to only be hungry for the wins. In the past, I used to be really hungry for the satisfaction, for serving myself, serving Tanner. When I was first getting into the gym, I wanted to have the easy way out. I would get dopamine from a promise from some influencer that said, if I do this workout, I'm going to get jacked really fast. And I would get dopamine from scrolling and seeing crazy physiques. And I'd get dopamine the cheap way. And that motivated me at first, but it didn't last. And today, this morning, when I woke up, I kind of had that feeling like, damn, I usually love Mondays, but today already feels like a grind. I woke up and it felt like I was on a grind. And what I realized is that's just my dopamine system telling me, like, hey, you have work to do. But the good news is our minds have power over that system. And we can physically tell ourselves and rewire. I hate that term because it's so overused, but you can genuinely rewire your brain into loving stuff that drives you forward instead of loving the cheap stuff. And when I woke up, I didn't want to get up and record, the YouTube video that came out. I had to draw on my whiteboard. I had to come up with diagrams. I had to do this. I had some people to talk to and help with their gym progress, some of my guys. I didn't want to do any of that. And then I realized, like, damn, all this is the feeling that I used to have before I gave myself that track. Before I mastered my dopamine system, this is how I always felt. And this is what I had to overcome and get over when I started my journey. This is what a lot of you guys are working on getting over. Is that feeling you wake up and you know what needs to be done. In today's day and age, with all the information on the internet, you know what needs to be done. I'm not here to tell you need to go to the gym, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's not my job. That's not what I do. Because everybody knows that. Any joker on the internet, anybody can just tell you what you have to do, but actually doing it is the problem. And if you truly understand how your system, how it's just a chemical. If you truly understand the chemical that makes you want to go do things, and you understand how to master that, and you get into the mindset of, I am in control. I believe I am the type of person who can be in control, and you leverage that, you'll make wonders of progress. Wonders of progress. And today, when I woke up and didn't feel like doing anything, and then I realized, like I said, wow, this is just the same cycle I've already beaten. It was so, I wouldn't call it easy, but it was simple. It was simple for me to get up out of bed at the time that I was supposed to go to my basement. I work in my basement. It's cold in my state. I live in Michigan, and it's like 55 degrees perpetually down there. So I put on my compression shirt and then a sweater on top and 2 pairs of socks and sweatpants and shorts, and I got to work, even though that's the last thing I wanted to do when I was in my warm bed. My warm bed was comforting. It was great. I remember thinking, like, damn, life would be so easy if I could just lay in bed all day. which is something that I used to do. So I would really lay in bed till like 11 or 12 sometimes. And I think back and I feel like I'm a whole new person now, but it's still the same person. The only difference is that I've taught myself to chase the inputs and love the work. And as soon as I got up, and this is what can apply to you guys, if you can extrapolate one thing from this video, I would want it to be this. As soon as I got up and got to my basement and started working, I knew that I was doing the right thing. And when in your heart you know you're doing the right thing, that feels even better than doing the fun thing. But you would never know that until you experience it on a consistent basis. Maybe some of you guys are locked in other areas of your life. Maybe some of you guys even are already locked in on the fitness aspect of your life. If you can extrapolate the logic and the feeling of how you're going to feel if you do what you know needs to be done versus what serves you in the moment. Sure, short term, it might feel great to lay in bed, but that's not you feeling that. That's the devil trying to keep you bound under your covers, trying to keep you bound to the life that you already live so you cannot grow. Because the devil knows if people like us, especially Christians who are also focused on locking in other areas of our life like fitness, like business, he knows if we defeat him and we grow and we get the platform, he will be defeated. So he does everything he can to keep us bound to where we already are. Because guess what? Maybe this video right here inspires somebody. Maybe this video right here inspires somebody to go to the gym. And then that inspires them to put themselves out there and make their own content. And then it spreads like wildfire. Or maybe it spreads somebody to become one of my elite clients and they completely turn their life around. See, I don't like to talk about that on here as much because it's hard to be one of my elite clients. It's not cut out for everybody. But maybe, just maybe, somebody might not even have to buy anything from me. I'm not here to sell you anything. Quite frankly, 90% of you who watch this aren't even capable of putting in the work necessary. But maybe, just maybe, I can slightly impact somebody's life. And that all started from the understanding that I am going to get excited and happy off of the inputs. Fuck the outputs. Fuck the subscribers. Fuck the gains. Fuck the good looks. Fuck the women. Fuck the cars. It's about the inputs. And I'm talking so much and I'm using so much conviction that my windows are starting to fog up. It's so hot in here. I'm starting to sweat because this is the first sunny day of the year in my state, which I'm blessed. And maybe this is a sign from God to keep going. But if you can master the mechanism at which you act upon, which is your dopamine system, and you can leverage that to win, you will have days like I had today where I didn't even want to get up, but instantly fell back into the track of working hard. I knew it needed to be done. I already had goals laid out for me in the morning from the night before when I journaled them in my journal that I do every single solitary day. I already had that laid out. And then I got to work. I made the video. I felt good about myself because I genuinely do it to change lives, not to make money. Money is just a side effect of the success. And then I got to the gym. I worked out as hard as I possibly could. I had a very intense day. God blessed me today with a good spirit. I felt good. I don't have a headache. I felt great. I'm blessed to have pre-workout and caffeine and the means to actually work hard. And I only ever achieve that from understanding that the hard work is what will reap the benefits. When I started working out, you have to understand, lifting, not even talking about business, which is what I'm working on now, my fitness coaching business. But when I even started lifting back in the day, 4 years ago, I didn't get benefits right away. You're not going to look great after 2 months of lifting. I always remember like seeing physique changes and then hoping, just praying like, oh, I hope he did that in 2 months. And then you go to this third slide on the Instagram and it's like, my client did this in just 9 months. And I'm like, 9 fucking months. I don't want to take 9 months. But 9 months is like the fastest he could do it because he had a competent coach. If you do it on your own, it's going to take 2-3 years. And when you're so entrenched in the modern day, oh, I need the result now. Oh, I need to feel good now. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to actually have the conviction to get stuff done. And that's how I felt. And the only thing that changed for me is that I remember And I'm going to tell you guys a really quick story, and then I'm going to send you guys out of here to go apply this. I remember being in class one day, and it was right after the long break. If you guys remember, you know, I can't say it out loud, but the long break we had, you know, about in 2020. And I had a good gym set up in my basement actually already, but I never utilized it. And I remember sitting in class right before the second time, if you guys remember that, the second break that we had because of that. I remember sitting in class and I said, if I ever get the time, if I ever get that time again, where I could literally not have school, I could have no responsibilities, I will devote my life to getting in great shape. Because I understand that getting in great shape will not only make me feel better about myself, but it'll teach me how to work hard. I thought about that as an 11th grader sitting in class. And by God, if school didn't get closed it was like 2 days after that, Thanksgiving, 2020. By God, if I didn't go downstairs to my basement and lift that very day, I have a picture. If I remember to put it in the video, it's right here, the first day I lifted. I had that picture, and I have not missed a workout since that day because I promised to myself, and I had already understood and learned what it was like to fail. I had 6 months of being locked in my house, and I did not get into shape. Did not get into shape. And I felt that at school. I understood it. I remember thinking like, damn, if I just started lifting 6 months ago, I'd be jacked by now. I'd be amazing. And I started lifting that day or the day after. And then I remember school was shut down for about a month in that case. And when I came back, I already had a little bit of progress because you do get some progress quick. Okay, you do feel better about yourself quick. I came back to school feeling like a G. And at that very moment, I knew that I was going to master the mental part. And now I've mastered the physical part, and that's why I teach people now. That's why I make these videos. Not to make money, to make winners. That is all I have for you. I have to go get my hair cut. I still have to work my job. I have to work today, but it's all... I also have this channel to document my progress. So someday, in 3 years, I'm going to look back at this video and I'm going to smile. And I'm going to say, yeah, I was putting in the inputs then. And where I am in 3 years, I will be there because of this, even though it's still years down the line. I do not give a fuck. I will work every day, day in, day out, because my dopamine system has been perfected. Thank you guys for watching. Please, if I ask you one thing, put this to good use. Please use the brain power, the logic to use what I just told you. Send it to somebody who you think could use it as well. Subscribe if you think it was valuable. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments or DM me on Instagram. I answer all my DMs. God bless you guys. Get to work. Have a great rest of your day.